Hello friends, welcome back to Smart Coder. We are back with a video, and in this video we will learn how we can integrate the WooCommerce cart API in our Flutter application. So you can see here we have our cart screen. In the cart we have the two products and we have the delete button also, and in the bottom you can see we have the subtotal, shipping total, and we have the checkout, and checkout we will cover in the next video. So now if I go to the categories, and from here I will add a new product. Now I will go back to the cart here. From here you can see we are having a 3 products now. So now if I delete one product, you can see total is 128. Now from here if I delete one product, so here you can see product is deleted, and you can see we have the 2 products here, and in the total you can see 57. Here is a 48 and 9, and the quantity is 1 here. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, you have to upload the cart API, and I will put the link in the description, and from there you can just import the plugin in your WordPress admin. So here the API, WP Cart REST API, which is developed by Snippet Coder team. So now let's go to our Visual Studio Code, and there we first test the API, and then we will code with our Flutter application and all. So here the URL for the API, and here we have the wc/v3 cart list, and we have to provide the user ID here, and we click on the send. So here what you will get status, then the coupon that is empty. We are not covering any coupon thing in this video. And then we have the cart totals, and there we have the subtotal text, shipping total, shipping text, and discount details, cart content totals and all, fees detail if there is any fees. Then we have the total here. Then we have the data here. Inside the data we have the cart item key, and that key will be used for deleting the cart item and all. Then we have the product ID, product name, product regular price, sale price. Then we have the thumbnail, quantity. Then we have the line subtotal, line total, variation ID and all. And we have the 2 items in our cart right now, so that's why it's showing the 2 items in the array. So now let's move to our Flutter application. First of all, we will create the model file. Here we have to create the model file, and we will name it as a cart_model.dart file. And first of all, we will create class cart request model. There we have the list type of product, and we will create the product class also, products here, and here the constructor cart request model. We will make it as a required this dot products. So now we have to create the class for the product here, class product. There we have int type of product ID, int type of quantity. Then we have int type of variation ID. So variation is like if we have any product with a different variation, like we have a mangoes and we have a 2 variations of the mangoes. One is for the 500 grams and one is for the 1 kg, and this type of variation we can create in the WooCommerce. Here we create the constructor here, product. We will make this required this dot product ID, required this dot quantity, and variation ID by default we will give 0 in case if we not provide anything. So now we have to create the 2 classes. One is for the cart item and one is for the cart totals. So here we have the code for the cart item, and inside the cart item we have the cart item key, product ID, product name, product regular price, product sale price. Then we have the stock. Then we have the thumbnail, quantity, line subtotal, line total, variation ID, and here the constructor. Then we have our cart item dot from JSON, and this will be use when we have to fill the data from our API to our model, and in that case this will be used. And there also we have the cart item key, then we have the product ID, then we have the product name, regular price, sale price, stock, thumbnail, quantity, line subtotal, line total, variation ID. So now we have to create one more class, and that will be our cart total. So here you can see in the cart total we have the subtotal, then we have our subtotal text, shipping total, shipping text, then we have the shipping taxes, then we have the discount total, discount text, then we have the cart contents total, cart content text, then we have the taxes, fee total, fee text, fee taxes total, and the total text. These are the, you can see the fields, some of the field which we are going to use. If you don't require everything, then you can just remove according to your requirement. And here we are having a from JSON that will be used for filling the data from API to the model file. So now let's move further, and in the config.dart file we have to define the endpoint for our cart API. Here we have the cart config.dart, and the first URL we have to put here cart URL, and we will name it as a cart-list. Then we have to copy this one and we will paste here. This one we will change it to add cart. Then here we have to change it to add cart. Then we have to create one more, and here we will change it to delete cart URL, and we will change it to delete -cart -item. So these are the three endpoints which we are going to use. First one is for the cart URL, that will be used for fetching the cart list data. And then we have the add cart URL, that will be used for adding the data to our cart. And then we have our delete cart URL, and that will be used for deleting the cart item from our list. And then now we have to go to our API service file, and there we have to create a new function, and we can just copy from our existing function. We will copy this one and we will paste here. We will name it to fetch cart list, and here we will change it to this one. We will change it to map string dynamic, and here we have to read two things. One is the cart total and the cart items data. That's why right now we are making it as a map string dynamic, and then later on in the provider file we will map it with the cart total class file and with our cart item class file. So here we will change it to cart URL, and here also we have to append our endpoints. Here we will write $config.api endpoint. Then we have to provide a query string here, and there we are just passing our user ID, user_ID, and this data we will get from our where logging details is equal to await. We have our shared service dot get login details, and we will write here login details dot ID, and here we will just return here data. In the else condition we will return here null. So what we did here, we have just added the request headers here, and we created one function that is fetch cart list, and then we have our getting the login details, and from that login detail we are getting the user ID, and based on that user ID we are just getting the data for that particular user. And then we have our API endpoints and the cart URL. And then we are just calling here client.getRequest with the URLs and the query string. Then whatever the data we are getting, we are returning from here. So now we have to copy this one again, and we will paste here, and here in the return we will put here boolean type, and this one we will change it to add cart, and here we have to pass the cart request model, and this one we will change it to add cart URL, and user ID we have to pass, and here we have to change it to post request, and here we have to create our body, and here in the body we have to pass here JSON encode, and we have to create the object here, and here first item will be our user underscore ID, and we have to copy this one and we will paste here. Then we have our products here, and we can send multiple products also, products, and here we will write model dot products dot map. Here we have the product, and we will pass here product underscore ID. Then we have the product dot product ID. Then we have our quantity, and we'll pass here product dot quantity. Then we have the variation here, variation underscore ID, and we can pass here product dot variation ID, and here we will write to list, and here we will just return here response dot status code is equal to 200. Else, if status code will be 200, it will return true, else it will return false here. So what we did here, we have created a function add cart, and there we have the parameter cart request model, and then we have the request header, then we have our login detail to get the user ID, then we have our endpoints, and the URL will be our add cart URL. Then we have the post request, and there we have the headers and URL. In the body we are just doing the JSON encode, and then we have our user ID. Then we have the products here, and with the products we are just doing the mapping, and we are just creating a product ID, and we are mapping with the product ID. Then we have the quantity, variation ID, and then we are just doing the to list here, and then we are returning here status code. If 200, then it will be true, else it will be false. So now we have to copy this one again, and we will paste here, and here we will change it to remove cart item. Here we have to pass our string cart item key. So now here we have to put here delete cart URL, and from here this user ID we can remove. Then we have our JSON encode, and there we have to just pass two things. First one is a cart underscore item underscore key, and then we have to map this one, and we will copy this one. And here we have to rename to user underscore ID. Here we have the login details dot ID, and this product we will remove here. So what we did here, we have just created the function that is remove cart item, and then in the parameter we are just passing here cart item key. Then we have the request header, then we have our get login details, and then we have our URL for the endpoint with the delete cart URL. Then here we have the body, and inside the body we have the cart item key. Then we have the user ID here, and we are just returning here if the status code is 200, then it will be true, else it will be false. So now let's move further, and we will create our provider file. So now we will create our provider file, and for that we have to go there. Inside the provider folder we have to create a new file, and we will name it as a cart underscore provider dot file. Here we will write class cart provider, and we will extend with the verb change notifier. Here we have to create the object for our API service underscore cart service is equal to API service. Then we have to create the object for list cart item is underscore cart items is equal to, and we will initialize with the empty array. And here we have to import class model, our cart model. Here we have the cart total underscore cart total. Then we have to create the getter for both these variables. Here we have the list cart item get cart item underscore cart items, and here also we have to make it items. Same we have to do for the cart total also, cart total get cart total underscore cart total. Here we have to create the functions. First one will be our future type of void add cart, and here we have to pass the variable. Parameter will be cart request model. Here we have the variable success is equal to await, and we will make this function as async here underscore cart service dot, and we have to modify our API service also, and from here we can remove the static. Now here if I put dot add cart, and we have to pass this model here, and here we have to check if success, then we have to call the function that we will create, that is fetch cart list. That means once any new product is created, then we have to fetch the updated data from the server for the cart list. And here we have to create future void fetch cart list, and here we will call this function await fetch cart list. We will make this function as async here, and else condition we will just throw the error, throw exception failed to add item to cart. So what we did here, we have created one function that is add cart, and then we have created one variable that is success is equal to, and we are calling our function that is cart service dot add cart, and we are just passing our model here. And in case we are getting the success, then we are just calling here fetch cart list, and in the else condition we are just throwing the exception here. And here we have to put inside the try catch, and here also we will throw the exception here. We will change here failed to fetch cart list. Here we have where response data is equal to await underscore cart service dot fetch cart list. Then we will map our cart items is equal to response data, and whatever the data we are getting here, we will pass here the variable name as list dot map, and this one we have to change it to lcaps list dot map item cart item dot from JSON, and we have to pass here item. Then here we have to list. Then we have our cart total is equal to cart total dot from JSON, and here we have to pass response data cart underscore total. Then we have to call here notify listener. So what we did here, we have just calling our API service with our cart service dot fetch cart list, and then we are getting the data, and then we are mapping our cart item with our response data as a list type, and then we are just mapping the whatever the variables we are getting here with our cart item dot from JSON, and we are just putting it to list so that we can have the array data in this variable. Then we have our cart total, and then there we are just calling cart total dot from JSON, and we are just passing our response data cart underscore total, and then we are just calling a notify listener. And we have to create the remove cart item also, and then we will copy this one, we will paste here, and we will rename it to remove cart item. And here we have to change the variable string cart item key, and here we are just calling here remove cart item, and we have to pass this key here. And same here we will do. If success, then we are just calling here fetch cart list, and in the exception we are just putting here fail to remove cart item. So our provider file is ready. So now we have to link this provider file in our main.dart file. Here we will write change notify provider underscore cart provider. So now let's move further, and we will modify our API also. And first of all, we have to go to our product widget. Here we have the pages, then we have the products. Inside that we have our product item card widget, and from here we have to make one callback event for our on cart click event. And here we will write final void callback on add to cart, and from here we will just call this one required this dot on add to cart. And then here in the bottom we have to add this one. Here we have our add widget, and we will wrap it with our guest detector. We will put here guest detector child. We will make this one as a child, and here we have our on tap event. I will call this one on add to cart. So now what we have to do, we have to go to our product page, and there we have to use this one add widget. Here what we have to do, we have to also put the loader here. When we click on the add to cart, we have to show some loader, and once the add to cart is finished, we have to remove that loader. And for that we have to make it here bool type of is API call process is equal to false, and we have to wrap our body this one. Here we have to write here progress HUD. Here we have the child, this one. Then here we have to put here in async call, and we will map with our this variable. Then here we have the opacity, and we are using here 0.3. Then we have the key here, and we will using here unique key. So now we have to modify our this item card widget, and here we have to write here on add to cart, and from here we have to just call our add to cart event. First of all, we have to put here set state. We have to put here is API call process equal to true. It will start loading the loader when we click on the button of the add to cart. And then here we have to create the object here, add a request model, cart request is equal to cart request model, and here we have to define the constructor here. We have to basically from here we are just calling the single add to cart, but with this function we can also do the multiple add to cart also for the multiple products. Here we have to create the object here, product class, and we have to pass here the product ID. It will be items dot product ID. And then we have the quantity that we will fix here 1. So now what we have to do, we have to put here try catch. Inside here we have to call here await provider of, and here we have to pass the provider name cart provider, and we have to pass the context here listen false, and here we have to write here async. Then from here we have to call here dot add cart, and we have to pass this model cart request. So once it is done, we will just make this async false here. So now let's run the application and see this add to cart button is working or not. So here we are getting some error. Let's see. So same we have to do here in that home screen also. Here we will just put here on add to cart, and we will make it empty here. Now let's run the application. So here if I go to the categories, so now if I go to any of the category, and we will put the debugger here, and let's see. We'll just put the debugger here in the add cart function, and we will put here. So now if I click on any of the product here, you can see load is loading here, but here seems like some error. So now let's reload the application, and we have to go to the account. You can see account is empty here, but what we have to do, we have to first log in user, and then it will create the session for the user and all. And for that, what we have to do, we have to go to the main.dart, and from here we will change the default to login. We will reload from here, and you can see we are getting here in the login page, and here we will put our email ID, and here we will write the password. We will now click on the sign in. So now we are login successful. So now from here we will reload the application. You can see we are now landed to our home screen, and from here we will go to the categories again. Now if I click on any category, so from here I will add any data here. So now you can see status is coming 200. That means data is added successfully, and from here we will press the F5. So now the loader is not stopped working. So what we have to do, we have to just put here toString, and here also. So now reload the application. Now we will go back to categories. Now again we will click on the grocery, and from here we will click on any other product. Loader is loading here, and from here we will just press the F5. So here you can see the loader is gone. So that's mean our add to cart is working perfectly fine. So now let's move further, and we will create our new page, that is cart listing page. And we have to go to the pages, and here we have to create a new folder. We will name it as a cart. Inside that we have to create a new file. We will name it as a cart_list.dot file. This one we will make it as a stateful widget, cart list page. So here we have to create few of the variables. First one will be our bool underscore is loading true. So this load is required when we call the fetch cart list, and there we have to just show the loader at the till the time the data is not loaded properly. Then we have to create a set string underscore loading items is equal to set string. This will be used to maintain the loader for the delete items and all. Here we have to write one function void underscore load cart data. We have to use here catch try catch. Here we will write final cart provider is equal to provider of cart provider. Here we have the context listen false. Here we have to import. Then from here we will call cart provider dot fetch cart list, and we have to make this function as async here. And the catch we have to put here scaffold messenger dot of context dot show snack bar, and we have to create this one constant snack bar. And here we have the text field to load cart data, and here we have the finally that we will use for stop loading the loader if mounted. Then we will set state is loading is equal to false, and we have to call this function from our override void end state super dot end state. Then we have to call this one load cart data. This one we have to change it to scaffold visit, and from here we will use body safe area. And then we have the child here, and then we have the column visit. First one we will give some space here, size box height 10. Then we have our center visit. Child we are using here text visit, and we will put here cart, and we will change the style also text style, font size 20, font weight dot bold. So now let's run the application, and we will link this page in our here in the cart when we click here. For that we have to go to the dashboard, navigator items, and here in the cart we have to change it to cart list page. So now if I click here, and before that I have to reload the application. So now here if I click, you can see cart is coming here. So now let's continue working here. You can see here debugger is also coming here because we call the fetch cart list API also, and we will remove debugger from here. And here we will give some spacing here, size box height 20. Then here we will check if loading. Then we will show here constant center visit child circular progress indicator. In the else we will use our expanded visit. In the child we have to call here consumer cart provider. Here we have the builder context cart provider. Then here we have the child here. Here we will check if cart provider dot cart items dot is empty. Then we will return here center visit child text visit your cart is empty. In the else condition we will return here column visit. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a list style. So inside the children we have to use here expanded and we are using a list view dot builder, and here we have the item count. We will map with our cart provider dot cart items dot length. Then we have the item builder, and we are using a context index, and here we will create one variable final item is equal to cart provider dot cart items, and we will pass the index here. Then we have final. Then from here we will return column visit. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a list style, and here we have the leading, and we are using here image dot network. We'll pass here item dot thumbnail, and we will pass here width 50, height 50, and we are using here fit box fit dot cover. We will save here. You can see all the images are coming here. After that we have the title here, and we are using a text visit item dot title, that product name. Then we have the subtitle, and we are using here text visit. Here we will pass quantity item dot quantity. Then we have the price here, and we will show here item dot line total. You can see here quantity plus price is coming here. Now here we have the trailing, and we will show icon for the delete here. We will put here icon button. Icon we are using here icons dot delete underscore outline. Then we have the on press event that we will cover later on. We will save here. You can see data is coming here. So outside this one we can create our cart summary, and for that we have to create a visit here. I will write here visit underscore build summary row. Then we have string label string value. From here we will return padding. Padding we are using here edge instant dot symmetric vertical 4.0. Child we are using a row visit main axis alignment dot space between, because here we have to show the two column in the one row, that will be label and the value. Here we have the children, and we have the text visit label. Style we are using a text style. Font size we are using a 16. Second one will be our value. So now we will create one more visit, and there we will use this one. Here we will write visit underscore build cart summary. Here we have the cart total. We have to import this file. Then from here we will check if cart total is equal to null. Then we will just return here size box dot shrink. In the else condition we will return here padding edge insert dot all 16. Then we have the child here, and we are using a column visit. Children's we are using here, and before that we have to put the cross axis alignment, and we are using a start. In the children we will put here build summary row. Label we will pass subtotal, and here we have cart total dot subtotal. We will copy this one, and we will paste 2 times more. Put here shipping. We will change it to shipping total. Here we have the grand total. put here total. So now this one we have to call from here. So this one we have to call from here. You can see here in the bottom we are having subtotal shipping total, and then here we can also show the button here. Put the spacing here, size box, height 20. Then here we will write form helper dot submit button. Name of the button we will put here checkout. In the on tab we can post anything. You can see here checkout button is also coming here. So now we have to change the code here so that this delete will also work here. First of all, here we have to define one variable. We will write here final is loading is equal to underscore loading items dot contains item dot cart item key. Now in the trailing we have to change the code here. We will put here is loading. Then we will show the size box width 20, height 20. Child we will show here a circular progress indicator, and the stroke width we are using here 2.0. We will save here, and here in the on press event we have to write some code here. Here we have to make one function void underscore toggle loading. Here we have string cart item key, bool type of is loading. Here we'll set the loader here if loading. Then we have to add the item here, loading items dot add cart item key, else we will have loading item dot remove cart item key. So what we are doing here, we have created one function that is toggle loading. So when we click on this icon, then what it will do, it will just it will first check if it is loading or not. If it is loading, then it will add that item key in the loading items. In the else condition, it will remove the item from there. So now here we have to call underscore toggle loading, and we have to pass here item dot cart item key, and here we will pass true. Then we will call here try catch. So what we have to do here, we have to call here await cart provider, and here we have to make it async here, cart provider dot remove cart item, and we have to pass here item dot cart item key, and here also we have to call our snack bar, and we will copy from here and we will paste here, and we will write here that name of the product name remove from cart. And same we have to do in the cache also if it is not removed or any error come, and we will put here failed to remove item, and here in the finally we will put here this toggle loading item dot cart item key loading, we will make it as a false here. So now what we have to do here, we have to just reload a web application, and we will go to the cart here. Also we can put the debugger also in the API service to see. So now if I click on any of the item, you can see loader is loading here, and the response we are getting 200, and we will refresh from here. You can see item removed from the cart, and here also it is not showing, and the balance is also changed here. So that means our delete is also working fine. So the checkout part we will cover in the next video. I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe channel, like, comment, share. Thank you for watching our video.